It's titled If I Were to Turn Myself into a Poem. If I were to turn myself into a poem, I'd give myself a pair of legs so that I could travel to Santiago, Chile, the place of Neruda's death, and backpack to Borges's Buenos Aires. If I were to turn myself into a poem, I'd bring with me in my transformation all of the heartache, the way my mother's gentle body laid atop a pull-out couch next to Dad's hospital bed nightly, or the way my father never climbed back into his leather-worked saddles. I'd bring with me everything I still have not allowed the heart to write about. If I were to turn myself into a poem, I'd be an erotic poem, slithering around the neck, the fingertips, and into the optic nerve of the reader. They would shut their door to safely consume me as a poem. If I were to turn myself into a poem, my format would consist of hilltops and flatlands, and it would appeal to all five senses. And reading the poem, you'd pick up notes of sin and sacred sage. If I were to turn myself into a poem, I would flow like the Snake River of the Pacific Northwest. I'd move sly and easy. The reader would close their eyes and put their hands on the waist of the poem, dance and wrestle, and even tongue kiss the poem. If I were to transform myself into a poem, I would unlearn the language of all white male poets taught to me in grade school. Instead, I would be a Mother Earth poem, a sacred soil poem, a floricanto poem. If I were to turn myself into a poem, that poem better be no saint. That poem would be a chain smoker, playing dominoes in back alleys. That poem would have a thick accent like Theo Chewy and a gut from pork chicharron dishes. If I were to turn myself into a poem, I'd be a melting pot of all poems. 21st century poems, poems that I've read and reread and involuntarily released a gasp. Poems that I didn't want to end, that I wanted to live inside of. Poems that I've read and shouted to the page, "Oh, you clever, clever bastard." And the poems of all the poets we have lost. And in my body of a poem, they resurrect and reincarnate as poets are immortal, clinking glasses of champagne amongst libraries and bookshelves.